This is Dave Harrington. He's running for one of the commissioner positions.
Yeah, thank you so much, and thank you guys so much for having me tonight. You'll have to forgive me if I'm a little sleepy. It's past my bedtime, but I'm gonna let you guys know a little bit. First of all, as she said, my name is Dave Harrington. I'm running for Lehigh County Commissioner as a Democrat. I grew up in the Lehigh Valley. I went to school in Northampton County. Don't hold that against me. I'm in Lehigh County now. I went away for college, went to Penn State, stayed on for law school. After law school, I had a brief stint where I worked doing voter outreach for a group that is pro-environment, pro-union, and then I became an immigration attorney. I got the opportunity to experience some advanced portions of law. I got a chance to argue in the, well, not verbally because that's very rare, but a chance to practice in the Third Circuit, doing things like discrimination based on immigration, as well as discrimination based on disability. I have an opportunity now to welcome people and to help people from around the world who have chosen to call Lehigh Valley home. I get an opportunity to meet people every day that have different experiences, that have different backgrounds, and that help to weave the fabric of our community. I'm running on a platform of 3 pillars. First is community. County government is a community government. The county handles things like children and youth. The county handles things like Cedar Brook. The county handles things like making sure that the courts are funded and operating properly. And as an attorney, I can tell you that when the courts aren't operating properly, there's no justice. That's another pillar of my campaign, is justice. I've seen what happens when people are without, adequate representation. I want to make sure that we have in our budget enough resources for people that are in the public defender's office, for people that are going through the system. And as it was said earlier tonight, it may not seem like a lot just looking at it, but to that person, that is the most important case of their lives. And that's what we need to make sure we're preserving. We need to make sure that we have enough resources for people that when they come out of prison, they aren't going to go right back into the situations that landed them there. Nobody goes to bed one night completely ready to go and wakes up the next day a criminal. It doesn't happen in a vacuum because we don't have adequate resources in play to make sure that we're preventing that sort of thing, that we're reducing recidivism, that we're making sure that everyone can live up to their full potential. And that doesn't just mean economically, but that means, their inner potential too. The other portion I want to talk about is the second technically, but third I'll talk about pillar of my campaign, which is transparency. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but there was a big corruption scandal in Allentown. That was a joke. I'm sure everyone's heard. Sorry. Again, past my bedtime. Come on. But I've seen the county ethics ordinance that was passed afterwards. I think that there's a way we can do it better. We can make sure that we're achieving the goals that we want to achieve, which is to end things like pay to play, which is to make sure that we don't have people beholden to the ultra-rich or special interests, to make sure that the county government is accountable to the people, because at the end of the day, I want to live in this community the rest of my life. I've grown up in the Lehigh Valley. I live here, I work here. I want my kids to live here and work here. I hope they don't go away to a big city or something like that, because this is a strong community. It's a place where we need to start looking at how we can take care of our own, because there's a lot of people who have been left behind. I'm hearing a lot of stuff about the economic development going on in Allentown that's not going to the people that actually live in Allentown. I want to make sure that we're also looking out for those that are outside of the city community. We have a substantial problem in the southern part of the county with flooding. Just last summer, there was a whole flood that wiped out some homes and garages and businesses in the lower part of the county, and that's because we are expanding some of these developments. We're not looking at the proper drainage. One of the things that the county is supposed to do is keep up with the state requirements as far as water management and drainage. That's something that is very important, because when the water is creeping up to your house, you want to know that your county is going to be there to stop it from overflowing. And the other thing that I want to talk about is, a lot of talk about taxes tonight, and there's no such thing as free money. But I think the closest we can get to it as a county is finding ways that we can get matching grant systems from the state and federal government, because that's less money that you're going to have to shell out in your local taxes. If there's a proposal on the table that the state or federal government is going to match something, we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to look in to find the smart solutions to ensure that we're saving money and still providing the essential services that we need to do to keep the county strong. So that's why I'm running. I'm running because I care about the community. I'm running because I want to see equal justice under the law. I'm running because I want a county government that is transparent to the people and is not beholden to anyone except for the voters. So I'm Dave Harrington, running for Lehigh County Commissioner, and I would love to take any questions that you guys have. Blew them away. All right.
There's a question for him. A question for him. I'm sorry.
I just have one.
Sure.
Would you support the county executive's desire to put a $5 tax on all motor vehicle?
The $5 tax is one of the things that the state government has said it would match, up to $2 million. That's $2 million that's going to be coming in to Lehigh County that we don't have to pay for further down the line. It's an investment in the growth of our county. It would go towards infrastructure only, so it would go towards making sure the bridges don't collapse when we drive over them. I think it's one of the smart solutions. One of the important things to talk about with that is, and I've talked this about the Farm Bureau before, is I would exempt things like, farm equipment, tractors, and things like that. But I think it's something that is going to overall, in the end of the day, save money. Because if we want to have a strong county, we have to find solutions that bring us into a program that we can be stronger with it. So I guess in a tacit answer, to be more to the point, I think it was a smart plan. I think overall, it would save money for the people of the county because we are getting that independent revenue from a different source.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
And we also have Bob.
Elbeck.
I always
Yes.
mess up his last name. He's also running for county commissioner. He's also been involved with the community for a very long time when it comes to politics as well.
Yeah. Thank you, folks, for your patience. I'm really impressed with the fact that you've held in here this long. I'm going to start in reverse a little bit because I also want to say something about that last question. I agree with David with regard to that $5 fee on registrations because it's actually, and if you think about it, it's a conservative principle. It's keeping the funds, the money that's collected in the county. It's money that's paid by the county taxpayers, or actually the drivers in the county, and it stays in the county. It's not like your state taxes where you pay that to Harrisburg, it goes into a black hole. Some of it may be for roads, but you never see it. This $5 fee is collected here in the county, and it stays in the county only for county-related repairs. We should be doing actually more of that sort of thing where the money stays locally instead of going to the state and then going to other parts of the state and not going into the county. So that's my position on that issue. I'm going to switch things around a little bit because again, I'm Bob Elbeck. I'm running for county commissioner. If I tried to tell you about my life story, you'd be here a long time like Candida. I'm 71 years old. But I want to give you a visualization, and because it's going to make a point. I'd like you to think about a family of 4, mother, a father, and 2 children. Sounds typical, but it's not a typical family. You see, the father was in the service for 4 years, came back from the service, quadriplegic, fully crippled from the neck down. The mother served in the Navy. She came back from the service with no extra training, just basic service, so she didn't have any skill sets. So we have a family with a quadriplegic father and a mother with no skills. They decide they're going to stay home and raise their children living on a veteran's pension and Social Security, and that's it. This family doesn't know the meaning of the word vacation. They can't do it. They just don't have the money. This family doesn't know the meaning of going out even to McDonald's to have a dinner because you don't drag a quadriplegic around just to go out and have a meal. One of the siblings does well in school, so well that they get into Lehigh University, get an engineering degree, and then proceed to create 2 successful manufacturing companies in the Lehigh Valley, hiring people and creating jobs. Doing so, this person has been giving back to the community as a result of all those years and what the community gave to them. Growing up, this family couldn't afford their real estate taxes. The taxpayers of that county said, you're a disabled veteran, you don't have to pay property taxes as long as the disabled veteran's alive. The sibling goes to college on a scholarship that's a VA scholarship. My point being is that there was a return on investment. Did the taxpayers get their money's worth out of supporting this family and helping them out in their time of need because they were in a difficult situation? You're damn right they did. And this is where we have to change the narrative. If we're going to do some of these things that some of the other candidates have talked about, the only way we could do that is if the general public, the taxpayers and the voters decide that all these social programs that we have to support those who are most vulnerable are valuable and that we get a return on an investment for the community. So this is a story. This was actually my story. This was my family. I went to Lehigh. I got through school, and I was the one who created the 2 companies in the Lehigh Valley, created jobs for people over the last 30 years. And it's not about me. It's about the social system that we have to maintain and keep going. The opposition tends to want to reduce government and reduce services and reduce the support for those who are the most in need. And that we have to change. That's why I'm running for office. When I pay my taxes every year and I sign that tax check, I think about a single mother with a child living up in New Tripoli in a trailer park who was a victim of domestic violence. I think about a child who's living up in Slayton with parents who have problems with opioid abuse. I think about African American or Latino children in Center City, Allentown, who not only have all kinds of other things to overcome, but they have to deal with racial prejudice. And when I write that check, to me, that's a hand helping these people out, these youngsters, with an opportunity for a better life. And if we cut that off, then we're no longer a community. So the narrative has to change, and that's one of the things that I'm going to talk about throughout my campaign, to try and get people to understand that the taxes that they pay and the government that they have, the county government, is not a dirty word. It's something we need. We need it to help support these folks who are in dire need and are most vulnerable in our community. That's what a community is, as David had said. And I try to walk the way I talk. I've been, over the years, a volunteer fire person. In fact, I'm a first responder right now. And when I go out on a call at 2 o'clock in the morning, I don't worry about who's paid their taxes or not. We go out and serve the people in the community. That's what we do as a community. I've been on a commission, the Lehigh Valley Planning Commission, for a couple of years now. And a number of years ago, when I was semi-retired, I helped tutor children at Harrison Morton in mathematics and science with my engineering background. So I've been giving back to the community for a number of years. And in addition, I think there's been a great return on investment with the community in what they've done in terms of helping my family. So to me, social services are a key part of our government, and I plan to, as a commissioner, to support that and maintain the social services that we have now, and make sure that they're not removed or reduced. So that's why I'm running, and my name is Bob Elbick, running for County Commissioner. Any questions? I think everybody's worn out and tired, so.
Anybody have any questions for him? Okay, now we're gonna next